Well, that's my goal, man. And I know I'm still haven't answered your question, but that's my goal is to get to I want to hit every OG in the West before they hang their hat, because I don't know how long this shit goes. I don't know how long these guys are going to be talking about what they talk about. And I don't know how long my style is going to be relevant. I don't even think it is now. I've been told many times, like, when are you going to start evolving? I'm like, well, I stayed in the pocket and I got a few placements out of it. So.
1, 2, yeah. Come on. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yes, sir, you are tuned in. This is for the SB1200, ASR 10s and NPC heroes. This is for the crate digging, loop getting, sound manipulators, the Fruity Loop reasoning machine innovators that pump the bass and frequently freak the kick in a stand till it slaps in your speakers. The sound providers that make sure the song is tight. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live. Shout out to the producers, beats grinding live.
Welcome to the Beats Grinding Life podcast with your host Siren, a weekly interview podcast with inspiring music producers, where every week you will learn from a different music producer how to potentially take your music career to the next level.
Today's episode of Beats Grinding Life is brought to you by Audible. Get a free audio download and 30-day free trial at beatsbooks.com. Over 180,000 titles to choose from on your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Some recommended readings by past Beats Grinding Life guests like 48 Laws of Power, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, The Secret, Tools of Titans, and The Song Machine are all available with Audible. Once again, go to beatsbooks.com to get your free book. What's up, Beat Grinders? This is another episode of Beats Grinding Life. I'm your host, Siren Beats, and with us today we have Dr. Evo. Dr. Evo is a music producer, sound designer, multi-instrumentalist based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and Los Angeles, California. He has collaborated with many producers like past Beats Grinding Life Nabeyin and Gosh Leotus. His credits include Snoop Dogg, Redman, Method Man, Be Real, Kokane, Dub C, RBX, Maylay, the San Antonio Spurs, and many more. He has just released an instrumental album entitled Funk With Me, which can be found on almost all streaming platforms. Yo, Dr. Evo, how you doing, man?
All right, man. Hey, glad to be on the show.
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm just glad to have you up on this show, man. I've been listening to your beats here lately, man, and feeling really, really inspired. And now I get to know the person behind all those beats, man. So I'm super excited, man.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
No doubt, man. No doubt. Well, I just read a brief intro on you. Why don't you just expand on that intro and let the listeners know, the beat grinders know, something that they may not know about you?
I don't know. You kind of nailed it all right there. San Antonio Spurs may be a little vague, but yeah, that was a kind of a once in a lifetime type of deal. Producers aren't really getting deals with major sports teams, so
right.
But that was kind of a oddball opportunity. But yeah, so I've been into the West Coast scene for a while, and just nothing really not to know about me that you already kind of all out there on the gram. So
nice. Okay, man. Well, you did mention the San Antonio Spurs, and when I was doing some research on you, I noticed that you said that was a big step in your career. And as much as you love hip hop, you're definitely gonna pivot from hip hop and start to do more stuff with film as well. So, have you taken it to that next step, or are you definitely working towards that way?
You mean like as far as like film or just? Yeah, but that's, to me, that's the, when you've arrived as a producer. For me, that's my threshold right there. Is if I can go to the big screen and hear my music being played in the movie theater. That's kind of where I want to end up at the end. Hip hop's I think hip hop's kind of more of a midway point, because I did with rock music, and I played actual instruments and did the whole grinding scene where you know, loading up drums and basses and guitars and amps. And so yeah, I would say hip hop's like the next chapter, and then now maybe even movie scoring. And yeah, I have a few independent people that want me to score their stuff, and that's how you get your foot in the door.
Right.
You can't just go right to, hey, Spielberg.
Right.
So
you don't start off with the Will Smith movie, huh?
yeah, so the Spurs is a great way to keep that door open with my foot there. Like, hey, I did this for you. And,
for sure.
You know, they gave me a nice chunk for writing the intro for them. So
that's what's up. That's dope, man. It was a nice piece too, man. I watched that video. It was pretty dope. So kudos to you, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, that's what's up, man. Well, already you gave us a little background on you. You said that you started off with rock music. I want to know, man, we always ask the first question on here, how did you get into music production? But what made you get into music first off? And then what made you get into hip hop music production?
Yeah, so music itself was, I would say, my brother playing the bass in front of me as a young kid, and in the 80s in Orange County particularly, that's just south of LA, and you know, there was a punk scene, and he would play his bass in front of his band, and it was just so loud and aggressive, and I just, you know, was so drawn to it. And he would leave and go work where the Angels play, you know, the Anaheim Stadium over there.
Oh, dope. Nice.
He would leave and tell me, don't touch my bass, and I go, okay, I won't. And then once he left, of course, he'd tell a kid not to do something.
Right, yep.
Put my greasy hands all over it, and he knew. I left my tracks all over. He's like, stop the bass. And I just would try mimicking him.
Right.
So I would just try to do what he did, and little by little, and I finally built up some courage and go, hey, let me play something in front of you. And then he was like, oh, okay, I see you, you little mother. Copying me. Yeah, started with bass and just evolved from there. Like, you know, he bought a guitar, and then I started going, hey, there's more strings on this thing. So
nice.
But as far as production, that didn't show up till probably 04, 05. And that was, I was having a party at said brother's house later, cut to like 2005 or whatever, but he was out in Anaheim Hills at a nice house and everything, and we would throw parties, and I had a drum set, and someone came over, and I was just we just had a loud music, and I started playing some drums, and this guy came over, started freestyling. Never met this guy, and I was like, damn dude, you're staying on beat, because I was changing the tempo on him. Boom, boom, boom. And I was like, hey, he's keeping up with me. He's flowing, whatever. I don't, you know, it's pre-written. You know, everyone says they're freestyling, but you can, you know,
right.
But anyway, so he goes, hey man, did you ever make beats? And I'm all, no, I've never. And he's like, you have a computer, right? And I'm like, yeah, upstairs. And he took me upstairs and said, there's this program called Fruity Loops, and he download this version of it. And then I said, oh shit, and you know, I didn't make it there at the party because I can't sit there and focus with the, you know, a lot of girls.
Right. your mind is on partying.
Yeah. So
at that moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep that window open and come back to it. So, I got his number and just said, hey man, every month just come back. I'm gonna lace you up with a whole CD full of shit, and you know, tell me what kind of sound you like, and you know, I'm really versatile. So, and then little by little, we built this little crew. So that's how it started with Fruity Loops. Obviously, I'm with Reason now, but
nice.
Fruity Loops was about a year and a half, and then I discovered Reason, never went back.
Okay, that's what's up, man. It seems like Fruity Loops is almost the perfect intro for most producers. You know, there's so many producers that have come on here and said that was their first piece of software that they started off with. So that's what's up, man. I mean, you started off playing instruments, sounds like the drums, the bass, the guitar. How much of a head start did that give you, do you think, than most producers?
Well, the funny thing is as I was making these beats on Fruity Loops, people were saying, what are you making these beats on? And I said, Fruity Loops. And they said, no, you're not. You can't make something sound like that on Fruity Loops. I said, yeah, I'm quantizing everything. I don't have the swing, you know, built in yet. I don't have any of these tricks built in. You know, my beats are trash. Come on.
Right.
beats are
everybody's when they first start, right.
Yeah. So, but here's the funny thing: I didn't even know you can use a MIDI keyboard. I didn't even know what that was.
Wow.
I was drawing in the bars into the sequencer.
That's crazy.
And creating piano melodies, going up and down, saying, "Well, that note doesn't sound good," and I can't read music, so I don't know what a C sharp is versus a G or whatever. So, I'm just drawing stuff in and just trying to sonically pay attention to what's happening, and then everyone would be like, "How are you making it sound like Dre and this and that?" And it's almost like Dr. Dre, but a little evil. And then they said, "Let's call you Dr. Evil, man. You just..." So that's how that name started. I mean, just all evolved that way.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Okay. All right, man. Well, when you first started out, man, who were some of the people that inspired you? This sounds like for sure Dr. Dre was one of them.
Yeah, we could take that name off. Well, Quincy Jones first, and I'm only saying that not because I was this savvy kid that knew who these producers were, but I had records of The Wiz, and I had Off the Wall, Michael Jackson stuff. Didn't know as a kid I was bumping Quincy Jones, and my parents would listen to Frank Sinatra, and I didn't know Quincy was behind all that. He was the big band doing all the big horns and stuff. And as I got older, I realized, that's why. Maybe I'm just attracted to his production,
Dope.
So Quincy's always going to be there. So Quincy, Dre, I'd say Battle Cat.
Nice.
For sure. Because some people, Battle Cat, Quick, DJ Pooh. I don't ever really hear anyone say DJ Pooh, but he's a big staple in the West too. So
yeah, he is. Wow, man.
Damn, come on.
That's dope, man. I mean, I definitely see where you got your production style from. I mean, I think that you have that West Coast sound to you. That sound that I love, that I grew up listening to. Even though I did grow up listening to a lot of boom bap and a lot of East Coast, I live in Portland, Oregon, and I can't escape West Coast music. So, and it's something that I started to love a little later, in my life. Throughout high school, I was kind of anti, but as I grew older, I started liking the Dog Pound and Snoop and all that a little later. But man, that's dope, man. That's dope. And like you said, nobody ever mentions DJ Pooh on here. You're the first person to ever mention the legendary DJ Pooh. The guy that is always slept on for some reason, whether it's music or film. So he's contributed a lot to the West Coast culture. Oh,
for sure. He's an OG for sure. He's cemented.
Yeah, he is. Well, that's what's up, man. That's definitely what's up. Well, Beat Grinders, if you guys aren't familiar with any of these producers that Dr. Evo mentioned, please, you guys go do your research. Man, he mentioned some legendary cats on there. So, all right, man. Well, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we love having a great time, and that's what we're doing right now. Just talking about producers and talking about how you came up, man. This is all fun, but it can't all be fun, man. And, I have a mission to make producers cry on this show, and I'm going to try to make you cry right now, man. I want you to tell me a major setback or a major failure that you've had. That you learned from, so maybe that and the lesson that you learned, so maybe we can learn from you and somehow maybe avoid the mistake that you made. If we can, there's just some setbacks that you just have to go through.
Yeah, some of that's just systematic, but I have one in particular that I could think of that's not too personal. I have some personal ones that I'm not going to disclose.
Okay.
I have one that's kind of anecdotal and it may pertain to someone else's, whatever they're going through. But
nice.
I don't know if you're familiar with Slip Capone. He was on he was on Murder Was the Case soundtrack.
Okay.
And which is hard to find on any streaming platform, but he was only 14 years old when he spit that. He sounds like little protege. He sounds just like Corrupt. Mm-hmm. And he's from Hawthorne. He unfortunately passed away about a year and a half ago. And 2011, I met up with him. And by the way, that song is called The Eulogy from the Murder Was the Case soundtrack.
Okay.
If you guys reference that. Just remember, like the 14-year-old kid spitting like that. Anyways.
That's nuts.
So 2011, I meet up with him. I'll try to fast forward it, make it quick here, but he hears my production and goes, hey, I want you to produce my whole album. It's going to be called The Golden Gate Bridge. He said, I got another producer named Day One. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yep.
And he said, you know, he's going to have a few records on there for sure, but I want you to produce the rest of it because your shit's undeniable, this and that. And I said, damn, can you introduce me to Battle Cat? And he's like, yeah. I find now and shit. I'm like, oh, you know, I was like, oh man, I'm not ready, you know. Because I wasn't, you know, confident in my production at that point. So we did about 11 songs. It was months and months. I'm picking him up. You know, he was cross-eyed, so he couldn't drive.
Okay.
So he had a few disabilities, but he was just a hard work. He was shit-faced drunk. And just spit. He would get better as the drunker he got. The studio, when you got everyone in the cut smoking and drinking, and it just starts declining, and it's like, okay, we're not getting any of these songs done at this point. But he went the other way. Anyway, so we got. I think he may have been around Pac at the time, so he got his work ethic or something. But we were knocking songs down, and we were getting features. We had Deadly Threat, which he was on. He's from the LA Zoo. From the what is it? The Friday soundtrack. Remember, it's the LA Zoo. Something. That's Deadly Threat, dude. But he brought him over, and he brought Badass from the LBC. And then he started all these. Everyone started coming over. I'm gonna get corrupt. He was just pumping it all up. Nice. So cut to. You know, I have a little run-in with the manager at the studio, and he has the masters. Everything's on his computer. I kind of take a break. I want to take a break. I'm getting overwhelmed because it's just getting overwhelming. Too much pressure. This is big, major. You know, this is an album. This is Dog Pound royalty. He's done Seawalk on Corrupt's album. Everyone. I mean, I started getting. This is my first big break. You know, this isn't before I know Snoop or anyone. So I'm starting to feel the pressure, and I'm like, hey man, I just need to take a break. You know, me and the manager are having a little problem over here. We had our own personal issues, and I don't know. I just took about a few weeks off, and he called me. He's like, "Hey man, what's up with these songs? I need to get this over to Corrupt or whoever." So I'm just like, "Hey man, I'm just taking a break." He doesn't understand my relationship with the manager. I'm just bringing to the studio every night, and he just knows all he's supposed to do is record. Right. But he doesn't know my inner turmoil with this guy. So I tried to articulate that over the phone. He's like, "Hey man, you know what? Fuck this. I don't need this album anymore." And I said, "Nah, man. Like, it's not like that. It's just in there." I was just trying to keep them hanging in there, but I didn't have any access to the beats. They were all at the studio. So I wanted to take a break from that place for a while, and he pulled the plug on the whole project, and I never got to get it done. And the reason why it's a setback is because now he's not with us anymore. Right. You can never get that back. I can never get that back now, and I don't know where the guy's at anymore, and I kind of don't care because I don't want to run into him, and I don't want to bring up old stuff, and just kind of want to evolve moving that way. But that was a big setback for me because we got a lot of work done and a lot of miles were driven just to get it. That could have been my gateway. I could have got into the whole DPG click from there. You know, that was a setback I would consider. I mean,
yeah, no, that does sound like a setback, a major one. But man, damn, sorry to hear that, man. I mean, but the one positive I took away from that is that I mean, it helped you build the producer that you are. You know, all of that work sounds like you put in a lot of hard work. You know, and I'm sure that hard work wasn't for nothing. You know, I mean, kind of help build your skills, I'm sure. But yeah, that just sucks to have all of that work just gone. You know, and now it's out there somewhere, you just don't know where. You know, and you couldn't build that relationship with DPG, and you know, and
yeah,
and the world is now robbed of all that music that you guys worked on.
Yeah, and the only one I have is that one single we got, and I'm just waiting to find out, you know, what my management wants to do with it. But I do want to drop it that I have.
That would be dope.
But I'd like to get more people to understand who he was as an artist, and I kind of want to let it ferment a little bit. And I don't want to take anything away from, you know, his family. I don't want his family to think I'm trying to capitalize on his anything he did. You know,
Right.
I want to make sure they're all compensated and whatever the streams, the revenue brings in at this point, because the streaming world now, it's different the way records are made. So, but the reason why it's also a setback is I ended up moving to New Mexico from there. I took a train with 2 boxes of clothes and chased a girl over there and started learning MMA, and it just went a whole different way. I just got rid of the whole. I brought my computer. It didn't have any of those songs, but it had Reason on it, and slowly but surely I started crawling back into the Reason thing, and so that was a setback. It was about 1.5 years, 2 years of not making any beats at all. So
Wow.
it's a love-hate thing with me. Me and music, we get into it.
I see, but you end up going back to it. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Well, that's what's up, man. Well, I mean, is there a lesson to be learned for all the beat grinders listening from that story?
Yeah, I mean, know what you got when you got it, and know when to shoot your shot. And it's just, I didn't really have control, you know. And you need, as a producer, you need to say, no, that's not good enough. Right. That's what made Dre is no, get back in there, let's do it again. Don't say it this way, say it that way. And I was just more of like a shrug your shoulders, like, that's good, sounds good to me. And it was just like, oh, do you want to keep the songs? Okay, like, be more in control of the masters. And you know, if I was savvy into the business, I would say, well, hold on, I own 50% of this shit, you know. So keep back up everything.
Nice.
I mean, I can you know, I could have dropped this whole album. He dropped all of his verses. They just needed the features. So I could have had him live vicariously through the, you know, I mean, but I don't have any of those. So that's what I'm saying is back everything up.
Nice, man. That's a message that we definitely hear on here a lot. Back everything up, you know. And beat grinders, I'm gonna say it to you again. You know, we've heard other guests say, I can't remember exactly who said it, but I'm gonna say it. If the backup isn't backed up, it's not backed up. So
yeah.
All right, man. Well, it just sounds like, you know, you were just playing the role of a beat maker instead of a producer. Is that fair to say?
I was a junior producer. I'll go.
Okay.
I did have a little creative control as far as, you know, moving some vocals around and stuff, but I didn't really give any input because he was, you know, I'm Mr. like never worked with anyone that was on Death Row Records for anything, you know.
Right.
So I assumed he knew more than me, so I gave him more of the keys.
Right.
But yeah, I wasn't just like emailing him beats. Like I was in the studio, we were grinding it out. So I was giving me a little, maybe a junior producer hat.
Okay, I got you. All right, man. Well, we're gonna hop to the other side of the tracks on this, man. I want to know, what would you consider your crowning achievement in your career thus far? What's your greatest moment?
You would think Mount Cushmore with 4 legends, right?
Yep. Yeah.
You would think that. But that's too easy. No, because, you know, we all make beats, we all make hits and misses, and sometimes one slips through the cracks and we get a lucky shot, right?
Right.
But getting a check from the San Antonio Spurs, and I'm not even a basketball fan,
right.
And I understand the magnitude, you know, like it's, why is a whole entity reaching out to me? And so when I got a check that said San Antonio Spurs and I got to show my parents, you know, which I ran away from home, I got in trouble with gangs and you know, went to jail and stuff. So for me to show them, you know, 20 years later or whatever, hey, look, also the sports entity is sending me checks. It's kind of cool that they get to see that.
Right.
Like, oh, good, we don't have to worry about that guy anymore.
He's doing something with his life.
He figured something out. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure a parent hearing a kid say, I want to be a beat maker or a producer, they'd be like, yeah, great. What else are you going to do?
Yeah, right.
So the fact that they got to see it is something tangible for them to even grasp. I think I would put that as my biggest achievement there.
Yeah, man, I can definitely see that. I mean, yeah, you're talking about, I mean, like you said, a big sports entity, a corporation. I mean, receiving, you know, like you said, they reached out to you, and so just the fact they reached out to you, and then you were fairly compensated, man, that means a lot, and so I want to thank you for sharing that story, because I mean, that's just inspiration, not only to me but to the rest of the beat grinders and everyone listening, man. I mean, wow, that's goals right there, man.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it helps people keep grinding, man, because like I said, like I saw Illmind posted something about he got to do an intro for some team. I forgot who it was. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to go, hey, I'm on retainer. Like, I'm actually signed for a whole season, but I didn't want to be thirsty or be weird. Because he doesn't know who I am. I didn't want to. Right. But it's not a lot of producers. It's probably half the reason why he even broadcasted it. I mean, so the fact that I even brought, I just think it's cool. Like, maybe one day we'll cross paths and I'll go, hey,
Yep. I mean, just the fact that for yourself, that hey, you're in that league as well. You're doing the same thing. So that's what's up, man. All right, man. Well, here on Beats Grinding Life, man, we're all chasing greatness. You, Dr. Evo, you're doing the same thing, but you're a little closer than a lot of us are. And so we want to know, what do you do in a typical day? So that way we can model our day after yours. They say if you want to be great, you duplicate what the great are doing. So we want to know, what does your day look like, so maybe we can kind of structure ours like yours.
I could depress you guys right now immediately. I have a day job, so
nice. That's perfect. That's perfect, man. Because a lot of us do. I know I do. I just got off of my day job, so yeah. I mean, that might help a lot of us out.
Well, yeah. So just so you guys know, as I'm name dropping all these people, sorry for all that, but it's kind of our industry. We kind of have to, but. Also at the same time, it's cool to get a few grand here and there, but it doesn't keep the lights on. You need something steady. So I do have a day job. I'm a truck driver, and whenever I find time to make music, I make music. And so that's a typical day for me is, oh shit, I got to go to work tomorrow. It's not that exciting, but if you want to talk about production, what's the first thing I do? We can talk. That's a different thing.
Well, I mean, just a typical day. I mean, what's a typical day look like for you? If there are days that you work and do music, that'd be great. But if there's just days where you just do music, that's great as well.
Yeah. Well, music has to, for me, it needs to be a vibe. Mm-hmm. And I don't think just for me. I think it's mostly everyone. But it needs to be inspired from something. I need to either pick up a guitar, play something, and go, oh, that would sound good with XYZ. Mm-hmm. So I don't just get on and do, put a clap on the 2 and the 4 and then hope something happens. Like it has to organically kind of manifest. So if nothing's happening and I have writer's block, I'll watch some stuff on YouTube. I'll watch some old Battle Cat videos. I love watching that guy work, and I get inspired by that, and when people tell me in my comments, hey man, you're inspiring me when I get off work, I want to make a beat. I'm just like, man, I feel so good that I'm making you because now that's making that person want to do it. Right. And it's like, I'm looking for that too at my level. I'm not A level, but I mean, I'm still looking for that as well. So the fact that you just need to be, I just need a spark, and then let me go from there. So yeah, that's what a typical day is sometimes I'll just go on YouTube and try to get inspired somehow. And it doesn't have to be hip hop. It can be something else, and I can try to integrate hip hop into it. So
okay, nice. That's what's up, man. I mean, yeah, that's like you said. We all need that motivation. We all need that spark, like you said. Some guys say, exactly that. They just fiddle around with the or play around with the piano or play around with the guitar or bass or whatever, and then some guys say that they just listen to music. They may listen for like a half hour to an hour just to get a vibe or to get motivated, before they even start working on music. So that's cool though, man. I'm glad that you talked about your day, and I'm glad that you did mention that you have a job. Like I said, a lot of us do.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, man. Well, this next portion of the interview, we call it In the Studio. We want to know, what do you do in the studio, how you do it, and what you do it with. So I'm gonna ask you, man, what do you do when you first start making beats? It sounds like you already told us.
Yeah, well, so let's say I'm inspired. So let's get to now we're at that stage and we'll move forward from there. So
Okay.
as far as like a beat's concerned, here's what I used to do. I've starting to do something different now, but here's what if you listen to any of my other stuff is how I did it. But I would go with the snare drum first.
Okay.
And I would either, it's a snare or a clap or a combo, but hit it, quantize it, and have it hit on the 2 and the 4, right? And just let it. That's the attitude of your song. The whole, the way that thing hits, and I always tag the slappery. That's the name of my publishing. I make shit slap. That's my point. So most of the time it's gonna clap hard, but so the attitude's almost always the same. That's why some people say it sounds the same, but well, I'm bringing the same energy. So, but I think the snare does bring the energy. So the attitude of it. So I go snare, and then I look for an instrument, something on the keys, maybe or the guitar. And then you already know what a kick's going to do. You already know where it's going to be.
Right.
There's only a small window where it can be. You don't need to add all the extra stuff to distract you. So that's how I do it. I go snare first, anywhere from 80 to 100 BPMs. That's what I do.
Okay.
If it's slow, it's going to slap harder just because I want to break someone's neck when they hit it. So,
right. Nice,
but yeah, so I do snare first and just let it all go from there. And usually, so what I'll do is I'll find not a melody per se, but a sound that I want to use for a melody. Then I'll go bass line because I'm a bassist by heart. So at heart, so I play the bass.
Right.
I'll do the bass. I already know that the sound I'm going to use. If I'm going to use chimes, I'm going to use bells, harps. So nice, I go back to it once I lay a bass line down. Then I know where my notes are going to hang. So if I'm doing triads or any sort of chord progressions, I know where to go because the bass is going to kind of lead the way.
Right.
So it's just that's how I build from there all the time. So lately I have been doing kicks, hi-hats, snares, everything, and just laying down like I got a real drummer in with me.
Okay.
And then I've been trying to do that because I'm warming up more to I'm not really like, if you came in my studio right now and I was making a beat and you walked in on me, I would stop. I wouldn't be able to focus. I see people all day on my gram. They got 10 people in there just playing different. I'm like, this is distracting the shit out of me. I can't. Dude, if my dog comes in right now, if I'm making a beat, it's over. It's
done. That's encouraging for me because I'm the same exact way. And I'm like, man, like you said, I see people making beats with tons of other people in the room. And why can't I be that way? But, Jake One, he said that he was kind of that way as well. When people would come over, he would just kind of put on a beat that was halfway done, but he said he can't really make beats in front of people. But that's what's up, man. So you start off with the snare, and we haven't really heard that on this show that much. A lot of people say that they start off with some kind of melody or something like that. Some people do say they start off with the drums, but not very many. So that's what's up, man. I mean, you do play the drums, you have that background, and then you said the bass after that. No wonder why your bass, your beats are bass heavy. That might be why.
Yeah, that's the funny thing about On the Double from, I don't know if you heard On the Double from Snoop. The one I did with, so Trox, Trox, right?
Oh yeah, here in Portland, yeah.
Yeah, he's out there in Portland. He sent me an 8-bar loop of a drum pattern. And first thing I did, bass line, because now that part is done.
Right.
So that whole bass drives the song. Not taken away from Trox's drums, but the whole bass is the whole momentum is bass driven and like you said, it's just I didn't even realize my bass was that dominant until everyone started pointing it out. Like I guess it was the growing up with the bass, kind of knowing where to go, take it for a walk kind of thing. So
right, that's dope, man. That's dope. Well, I apologize, man. I have not done my due diligence. And I need to listen to that song, and I saw that Trox had on his credit Snoop, and so I should have definitely listen to that song. So I feel like an asshole, an idiot right now. But but just know I will listen to that song when I get off of here. So I apologize.
That's fine. No, don't worry about it.
But
as long as you heard Mount Cushmore.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, what's a not so secret weapon that you have in the studio?
Oh, obvious, not so secret would be my guitars.
Nice.
So, yeah, it would be either my Fender Stratocaster or I have an Ibanez 5-string bass. Nice. And, you know, that's shit. Collabs, I mean, I've had people go, hey, man, I need a bass line. Cool. Just throw like a note my way in my PayPal, and I'll lay down a bass line. So, boom. Nice. That's my secret weapon. I mean, if you think about it, it took not even an hour to lay down a bass line, and there it is. Just having that in my arsenal is a good secret weapon, I would say. Yeah,
for sure, man. Okay. All right, man. Well, I mean, you just told us about a couple of your guitars. I want you to tell me what else you have in your studio. What's all in your toolbox?
Omnisphere. Battle Cat kind of told me to get on that.
Okay.
Actually, a lot of the stuff I have, as far as plugins and with Reason, you know, they have rack extensions.
Right.
All that stuff's from Battle Cat telling me, you need this, you need this. I would have never, done the research. So I do have a very lazy side to me, so I kind of have to be told what to do.
Right.
And then once you give me the tools, I'll figure out how to build the thing. So
right.
So yeah, I would say what is it? What did I say? Omnisphere.
Omnisphere. Yep. All the Reason racks.
Reason racks. Yeah, I use the VK1, VK2.
Okay.
For my basses, and that's funk. If you're not a funk guy, that you probably won't want to do that. But I found the little extra, because I'm on Reason 10, and they have I forgot what it's called. I haven't used it in a while, but they have a thing called scales or chords or something, and it's in the player section, and you click it and bring it over. So if you're not good at playing chords on the piano, you bring it over. You hit one note on the piano, hit a C, it'll play a C chord for you.
That's crazy. That's a cheat code right there, man.
That's definitely a cheat code.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so if you suck at your whatever minor scales or whatever your things, it does it for you. So I mean, they just keep making this thing easy and user friendly. It's these producers are going to be making beats in their sleep with their feet. It's just going to get out of hand. It's already getting. Yeah. Everyone's a producer now.
Yep, everyone is a producer now. That's crazy, man. I mean, could you imagine when you first started? I mean, that it'd be like this?
No. Well, we had if I showed you the microphone we had it hanging from the ceiling because we didn't have a stand, so we had to. It was just ghetto. The whole setup was just jerry rigging everything and just duct tape and stuff, and the whole fact of having a booth with a plexiglass that was
a dream.
That's a dream. That's the BMW of studios, right there.
Yep, for sure, man. I mean, I remember using the headphones as a microphone, back in the day.
Right.
So plugging that into the microphone jack and just rapping out of the headphones. So.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, man. Well, what else is in there? I saw that you had what kind of interface do you have?
The Apollo. And guess who told me about the Apollo?
Trox?
Yep.
Nice.
He said he swore.
I should have guessed Battle Cat, but I guess right.
No, that was a good guess. I did drop his name a few times. No, Trox told me it's a game changer. It makes all your sound warmer, and I just said, "Wow, okay, let me give it a look." So,
that's crazy.
Oh, by the way, the website that I use to get instruments that. You could just pay payments on it. You don't have to, because these days, most musicians. That's why I used to go to Guitar Center and go, dude, these guys can't afford $1,000 pieces of equipment. We're all broke. That's why we have friends.
Yep.
So I go, how can anyone afford this unless they're like paid musicians? So, but I found AmericanMusical.com. That's where I got my Moog from. Nice. I got the Apollo. I had to make payments on it. There's no shame in my game. I'll tell you right now, I'm wearing basketball shorts and sandals. I'm not trying to.
Hey, man. I mean, it doesn't matter how you get it, man. It's just as long as you got it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Logic the Beat Man, he told us about some of these websites. I think American Musical and Zounds, I think.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No credit check. It's just
exactly
how many payments do you want to pay? Okay, cool. We'll send it to you tomorrow.
Yep. I mean, that's speaking of cheat codes. I mean, that's doesn't get any better than that. Not all of us have the best credit, you know. And so, but we do need music equipment. All right, man. Well, that's what's up, man. It sounds like what you have in your studio, man. It makes it a fun environment to be in and very creative. So that's what's up, man. What kind of computer are you using?
It's a Intel 7 process. It's just a Dell I had for the past 5 years.
Okay. Hey, as long as it works for you, man, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I want to get an SSD and get something where it's a little faster, but I got a lot of people in my ear talking about you need to go Apple, and I'm like, well, that's just a big learning curve for me. I don't. I got to take a few months out of my game just to learn the stuff. So I'm an old man at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a learning curve, but once you get it down, I mean, it won't take long to get it down. If you just know computers, I mean, it'll be pretty easy.
Yeah. It's just to uninstall and reinstall everything. So.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. That's a hassle.
Yeah, it's just a pain. But I got an external hard drive where I keep all my beats and stuff. So
nice. There you go. Okay, man. Well, Beat Grinders, if there's anything that Dr. Evo mentioned that interests you guys, definitely go to Beats Grinding Life under his show notes, and I'll provide links for everything that he mentioned. Okay, man. Well, this next portion is called In the Mix. We're just gonna speed things up a little bit. It's kind of like rapid fire. I'm gonna ask you some quick questions. You give me quick answers, but if you need to slow it down and take your time to elaborate on one of these questions, please do. It's definitely encouraged. So,
all right,
man. Do you prefer making beats with samples or without?
Almost never.
Yeah, okay. I figured. Now, what's your opinion on selling and leasing beats online?
Okay, so about this, I know a lot of people give you a quick answer.
Hey, slow it down if you need to. This one is probably the one that people always say, let's take a little bit of time and talk about this.
Yeah, well, because look, if you want to be a producer, I don't think you should do it. If you want to be a beat maker and you want to make a quick buck, then I don't. There's no shame in your game. I mean, go for it. But
right, that's a great answer.
I mean, if you want to build something with someone and you don't want a swap meet rapper or just a SoundCloud rapper just to rap over any old beat, and your beats are just floating out there into the ether and anyone can rap on it, then it kind of takes away from the authenticity. That's just my opinion as a producer, but
right.
I would never do it. And my management is trying to tell me, dude, just make an anonymous name or something and sell them just a few bucks. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know. But I want to do it under Dr. Evo, that's for sure.
Right. Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, you mentioned a couple good points there. I mean, just having just any rapper just rap over your beats. I mean, do you really want that? I mean, because your name is linked with that song, so if the song is terrible now because the rapper, you're linked to that, and then also you mentioned maybe having an alias, and someone else mentioned that, and that might not be a bad idea, having some kind of alter ego.
Yeah. The problem now is I've already developed a sound. Right. So people are going to start going, is that a Dr. Evo beat?
Right. Well, that dude stole Dr. Evo's style.
Yeah. Wait, he posted that one the other
day. Yeah, I hear you on that, man. Okay, well, what's a plugin that you think every producer should have in their arsenal?
I'll go back to Omnisphere.
Nice.
Just because there's so much you can do there. It's not all funk-based stuff, and neither am I, but lately I've been really just ever since Snoop gave me a little nod, I've been making sure I double down on that G-funk.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So, but yeah, that's Omnisphere is just so versatile. You can go anywhere with that. So.
Yep. Okay. Do you have a book that you think every producer should read? And it doesn't have to be music related.
Now, I'm not really a reader, but I did read a book a long time ago called The Millionaire Next Door.
Nice. That's a classic.
It is a classic, right? I feel like everyone kind of knows about that book, but the fact that it teaches you how to, it's almost anti this industry because it's talking about being frugal and how to save your money, and you know, most millionaires are driving a pickup truck and you don't even realize it.
Right.
And they're first generation millionaires. It's never passed down most of the time because usually those kids just don't know how to handle it. So that's a cool book to learn about who the real millionaires are and how to just save up money and not, you know, spend it frivolously. So
man.
As far as books and finances, that's a good one.
That's actually good. I mean, that's a great recommendation, man. I'm glad that you brought that up, you know, because as producers, we need to be frugal. I mean, it costs money to buy equipment, to buy software, to, you know, do everything that we're doing pretty much, to get on subscription sites like Splice or definitely, you know, we definitely need to be frugal with our money and save our money. So and just be aware of all of that stuff. So thank you for that recommendation, man. I think you knocked that one out the park. Okay, well
yeah, for sure, that's a good book. That's a good read.
Beat Grinders, I know that you guys are definitely into audio and you guys don't always have time to pick up a book and read, but that's all right because now we have audible.com. It allows you to listen to audiobooks, and if you go to beatbooks.com, you can go get a free book. If you sign up for a month subscription for free, you can end that subscription at the end of the month and not pay a dime, but also keep the book. So you guys can go get a book like the one that Dr. Evo mentioned. Just go to beatsbooks.com. All right, man, is there an internet resource that you use that you think every producer could benefit from? And when I say internet resource, I mean a website or a mobile app.
Yeah, American Musical, man, that's what I use. And, you know, for all my musicians out there, but you don't have to be, it's not just physical instruments you can get. You know, controllers, MIDI controllers, and anything from there. So all this stuff's expensive, but you know, I don't work for them. It's not a commercial. I feel like I'm doing a commercial.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry you feel that
way. Nah, I'm having fun, man. I'm just that would be mine, and then I'd squeeze another gem in there. Have you ever guys heard of Lander? Have you guys heard of Lander?
No.
LANDR.com. It's a mastering. It does like a digital mastering for you. It's a rough draft. So if you send your wave into it, it will give you a low, medium, and high mix of whatever you gave it. So it's almost like like I've seen YouTube videos where the guys are saying there's really no difference to send it to a guy who to master it or going to Lander and sending it and having him master it. So if it's too tinny, if it's too low end, it kind of evens it out for you and gives you a good master. But you do need it, just like any mix, the mix needs to be good. The master's just the polish, the mix needs to be solid. So if the mix is shitty, it's just going to be a shiny shitty song.
Shine up a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So that may not help you if you suck at mixing. But right. Yeah, Lander is what I use.
Is that a free service or do you pay?
It's free. It's free if you want the low end MP3, but if you want, like, you can get the HD wave, and that's like $20 a month or something. But you can just, if like I did my album through there, so
wow.
I just paid a monthly and then canceled.
So
done. So
wow, man. So like you just send them your wave or MP3 of your song, or do you send stems?
No, just the wave. Just give them a 2-track, and then it has its own mechanism that can pick off all the frequencies for you and just tweak it right. And you get to choose between low, medium, or high. So if the intensity's not high enough for you, you can obviously raise it up. But yeah, like I said, that mix has to be good. Otherwise, just putting lipstick on a pig at that point. So
wow, that's awesome, man. Well, thank you for both of those recommendations. Beat Grinders, definitely go check those out. I've never heard of Lander, so I'm definitely gonna utilize that and check
on the double. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. The double sent through there. So, and that was on his EP of 220. He had about 7 or 8 songs, and that was sent through there. So
okay, wow, that's what's up, man. All right, well, you know, we're gonna slow things down here just a little bit. I want to know, man, what, you know, because we're all trying to get placements on here. I think that's every producer's, you know, dream and goal is to get a placement, and some of us don't have a placement yet. And we want to know from you, what was your first placement, and if you can describe that feeling, so maybe it can just help us and motivate us to get that first placement.
Shoot. I would say Mount Cushmore would be my first major. I guess I had a few smaller ones. Mm-hmm. Well, the phone call where Snoop happened was because of young Zeke, and I can't take that away from him. I told him I'd never forget him for that one.
Good.
But so there was a movement called the LBC movement. I'm not sure if you're familiar. He had Jabba Loke and a bunch of guys from Long Beach, bunch of kids from there, and Snoop is I keep saying he, but Snoop is what I'm talking about. And so he had a group called Long Beach LBC movement, and he was just trying to have them give him some shine, get him out of the streets, and just, you know, hey, come on, let's do some music. So I noticed that on YouTube, and I don't know, you know, Snoop doesn't know who I am at this point, but this is like 2014 or 15, and I reached out to Zeke because there was about 8 to 10 rappers, and I reached out to him. I said, hey man, you're pretty dope. Let's do some work, you know. So I gave him a song. I gave him about 3, and I saw him post maybe like a month later. He was in a studio in Dallas, I think, and Snoop was next to him. I guess he was in there doing a show, and he just popped in the studio, and they're bouncing around, and I'm like, that's my beat. Hey, that's my beat. What's going on here? So I like it, and I'm just throw question marks in the comments, like, what's going on here? And then I see a phone call, and it's Zeke's calling me.
Dope.
And I as it's ringing, I'm looking at the Instagram going, oh wait, Snoop's there with him. So this is going to be important. So I grab it. I wouldn't answer it, but I grabbed it, and then he goes, hey man, Dog wants to talk to you. And I went, oh shit. Like I was at work. I was like, get out of my way. And he's hey nephew. He did all of his Snoopisms.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I just was like, oh, this is really him. But you know, the funny thing is that phone call happened on April Fool's. So I thought it was a joke at first.
Right.
So I was like, who is this?
Right.
No.
Wow. That's dope.
Yeah, man. He was just like, this beat's hard. And here, you know, I need the stems for it because we're going to record to it. Mm-hmm. And so I guess Snoop ended up getting on it. And then Fred Reck did the talk box on there.
Nice.
So I got my first song was Fred Reck on the talk box, Snoop on the hook, and then Zeke, you know, it was his song. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, that was my first one, and ever since then, you know, Snoop's like, and then also here's my email, like he kind of like an elbow to the side, like also here's my email for other shit, because if you got stuff like this, go ahead and keep coming. So that's what I started doing. I said, I don't want to overwhelm you, and sorry, this is gonna dovetail nicely into the next phone call. I emailed him and said, here's my number, because like I said, he gave me Zeke's phone. Okay,
right.
So I gave him my number. A week later, I see a 213 number calling, and I know exactly who that is.
Yep. Nice.
So you definitely know I'm locking that number in. Mm-hmm. So he's playing a beat that I sent him that week. It says, this shit right here, this is hard right here. I go, oh, cool. Well, you know, what do you want to do with it? He goes, I want to give it to Bootsy Collins.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, whoa, hold on. He goes, yeah, the man, the myth, the legend, Bootsy Collins. He's like yelling at me. I go, I know who you mean. Dude, I want to be with you.
Right.
Classic. I know who that is.
Wow.
And he's like, okay. He's like, I just get permission to move it around like that. And I go, the fact that you're asking me permission is just ridiculous, first of all. But
you have it.
But man, if he if he asks me permission, he obviously does business the right way. And then I got a phone call, I said, I'm gonna lock you in. I said, I don't want to overwhelm you, but I got a gang of shit I could send you. He's like, it's not overwhelming as long as it's tight. He told me. So I make sure to only give him the good stuff. So I didn't mean to get off on a tangent there.
No, please. I mean, hey man, I love that story. I'm sure a lot of the beat grinders listening love that story. We're all about stories, man. So wow, man. Your first placement was with Snoop. That's awesome right there. It doesn't get any better than that. Past Beats Grinding Life guest THX, who was just on here 2 weeks ago, said his first placement was with Snoop as well. So,
oh, nice.
Wow, that's awesome, man. And then you had Fred Wreck on there, who was a West Coast legend, and that's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, I have it on if you guys go to my gram, you could see Snoop he was still feeling the song. He went back to the studio at his, Long Beach, wherever he's at. And, I don't want to give away his position. So he's in there. You see Fred Wreck on the talk box, and it's all evident right there, right in your face. So it's pretty cool just to watch it happen in front of you. Like, dude, I bumped their shit, growing up, and there they are. Yep. On your stuff.
That's a dream come true, man. And what the most important thing I think I took away from that, man, is how proactive you were to make that happen. You reached out to, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name.
Young Zeke.
To Young Zeke. You reached out to him, and not even knowing, that all of this would happen. But, you just reached out trying to give your beats to a hungry young rapper that you thought was pretty dope. And look what it turned out to be. So...
Yeah, it's total. And Zeke told me, he passed the phone back, and I go, how did that happen? Just by the way, because this doesn't happen to everyone. Like, right. What's the percentage of the population that's produced for Snoop? It's got to be less than 1%. Like, I get to be in that percentage. So I'm starting to pinch myself at this point, but I still am like that, man. I'm real humbled by this shit, man. I know this comes and goes, so I'm very, very, very grateful for it. But I told him, I played that beat for him. The first thing he said was, who is that producer? And you need to keep him.
Wow.
So the fact that he said that, I was like, damn, really? He said that? And he goes, yeah, his lawyers are going to call you. I'm like, oh shit. So yeah, once the lawyers got involved, that's when I'm going to go off on tangents if you don't mind, but
cool, man.
The manager for the East Siders, which is, Trey D and Goldie Loke, reaches out to me, sees one of my beats and says, hey man, we need to do business. And I said, that's funny that you just hit me up at the same time that Snoop's lawyers are trying to talk to me. So I hired him immediately. You know what you're doing. I know he stepped in after the other manager. So he's well respected in the game. Everyone knows Jazzy. Okay. So... and on the West Coast, but I took him in, and then he introduced me to his admin, and then we made a whole team out of it. So ever since then, but just so for the guys listening, that are coming up, none of these opportunities were me being thirsty. You gotta grind, man, and just let them come to you. Snoop Dogg called me. The Spurs contacted me. My music did all the talking.
Right.
So, some of us aren't fortunate enough to have music that could talk like that. But at the same time, man, you gotta assume that they're watching you.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes people will like my shit, and I'll go, wait, is that Dr. Dre's kid? Like Curtis, what was his name? What's Dr. Curtis Young or something? Okay. I was like, isn't that Dr. Dre's son? Like, wow. I don't know who's following me. Like, so who knows? Dope. One day DJ Quick might just pop up and just go, hey man, your shit's tight. You don't know, but you don't want to shoot your shot and get into their DMs and be a weirdo.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? For
sure. Yep.
So yeah. So when I saw Zeke, I didn't see, oh, well, he can get it to so-and-so and maybe he can get it to this guy. I just said, Zeke, you sound tight. Let's work.
Nice.
And it just naturally, organically, that's how the opportunity happened. So
that's awesome, man. That's dope, man. Well, there's a great few lessons to be learned, just from your experience, man. And like you said, don't be thirsty. Just put your head down, put your work out, and just know that people are watching. And if you're dope, somebody is definitely gonna reach out to you. So,
for sure. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you for that, man. Well, I want to know, what's your favorite song that you ever produced?
Okay. Now, of course, Kushmore. Oh man, I could go. Could you pluralize that as songs? Because Kushmore, obviously, he calls me and tells me, I got everyone's fucking vocals, and he did say it that way. He had a little edge to him.
And did you know who everyone was at that point?
Okay, so the week before that, he told me, he's all, that beat that you sent me right now is so hot. So, Snoop does this youth football stuff, right? He does he was up in Big Bear, the mountains in California. Mm-hmm. I call him, he sends me a text. He said, let me call you later, but I need some heat. So I go, don't even trip, don't even call me. I'm going to send you some shit right now. So I sent him 3. One of them was Kushmore. So he sent me a bunch of fireball emojis and said, that's the one. 10 minutes later, he goes, you know what? I'm going to put Be Real, Method Man, and Redman on it. And I'm in the store shopping. And I start going, boom, 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 hitting every emoji, throwing eggplants in there. I don't give a shit.
Oh man.
Yeah, so when I found that out, I was just jumping around and was like, what? I'm like, yeah, you don't realize what's happened. So then he called me in and said, a week later, I got everyone's vocals. He said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them to you. You arrange them however you want, and we'll follow your lead. And I said, oh shit. Well, first of all, you're putting 3 more legends on top of you and just giving me this big responsibility. So
it's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure, and I've been in pressure situations, and we already know where that went. So I said it's time to chuck it up and be a big boy now. So here we go. And then I moved Redman in the front, and I even called and said, hey, can we Be Real on the hook with them?
Nice. And
they were already ready to go on tour. We didn't have enough time to do all these extra things. So I tried to produce it as much as I could. I said, I think it'd be good if we did XYZ. And, I suggested the honking of the horn when Redman does the honk sound. And
dope, man.
So, yeah, I got to produce it.
That's awesome.
So that's the cool part about that. It wasn't just, here's a beat and here's what it sounds like.
Right. That's dope right there, man. I mean, that sounds like you've grown, just from what we talked about earlier. You just supplying the beats and kind of being intimidated to speak up and produce the track, to here you are producing legends, legendary rappers. That's what's up, man. Wow, that's awesome, man. I mean, wow, you've had some great experiences, man. Good for you.
Yeah, for sure. Wow. I appreciate that. And then also on the double was funny, and I won't get too deep, but he called me at 1 a.m, and when I see Snoop's calling me, it doesn't matter how many times. Yeah, it doesn't matter how many times he's called me. It's the same feeling every time. It's like, oh shit, Snoop's calling you. So he calls me, goes, Dr. Evo. I'm like, what's up? He goes, this shit right here, and he's playing it in the background, and you haven't heard it yet, which is cool because then you get to hear it later. But he's busting freestyles over the phone to me, which doesn't mean anything to me because I just want to know, what do you need as far as, do you need 8 bars? Do you need 16? I want to get to the thing, but I'm just like, you're Snoop, you do what you do. He goes, I need a longer version ASAP. I need to record. Right now I'm in the zone. But that's what I was talking about, how it's a mood, right? So I can sense, if I see, sometimes I see Snoop poses a lot on Instagram.
Right.
If he posts himself in the studio, for some reason I feel like that's when I should send him a beat, because he's already in there, he could push play.
Nice.
So I do those kind of deductions and just start realizing that's a good time to send him stuff, because he's still hanging out with Martha Stewart. I can't just call the guy, you know what I'm saying? It's not like we're buddies or anything.
Right.
But so anyways, so with On the Double, he goes, I need a longer version. So at this time, my studio was upstairs next to my lady, and she's going to nursing school and she's trying to get her sleep. And I go, hey, Snoop just called me. I'm about to start producing in here, just so you know, if you want to move and go to sleep somewhere else, because I'm going to get real funky right now.
Right.
I'll put the headphones on, but that's not going to do anything for me. So it turns out the bass line I used was from a plugin that was only in a trial version. You got, now this is producer
where
talk.
you're going with this.
This is for your producers listening. So, man, so what I learned was bounce the track to audio so it keeps it.
Right. Yep.
That's one trick.
Yep.
That, I had to find out the hard way. But also, just buy the damn plugin, you cheap bastard.
Or that. There's that.
So that's what I had to do.
You had to buy it right then on the spot, huh?
I bought it on the spot. Like literally, the phone was still on fire from talking to him. So
probably the best investment you ever made.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I knew it's like an advance. You know, they're gonna recoup it anyway. So
yep.
I'm just like, it doesn't matter. I'll pay $100, whatever it was. So that bass line stayed the same. I didn't have to alter it or use something different. But
nice. That's
another fun one that I had to make because it was also under pressure. Mm-hmm. And you got to be ready to move, man, when these guys call you.
Nice. I love it, man. I love it. Well, damn, man, that's another great story, man. Thank you. And another gem, you know, you just said it, man. You got to be ready to move. So
yeah.
Even at 1 a.m, got to be ready to move. I love it. Okay, man. All right. Well, what's an album besides one that you worked on that you think every producer should listen to and why?
Oh, everyone's probably already heard it, but The Chronic, 2001.
Nice.
Now, just for, you don't have to like the production if you're more of a sample base, whatever. Mm-hmm. Just listen to every meticulous instrument and how it's EQ'd. It's just ridiculous. Nice. The way Dre, his ears are just phenomenal. And you know, people always try to tell me, oh, you know, but Dre doesn't play instruments. You know, you're better than Dre. You actually play instruments. He hires. I'm like, dude, don't do the Dre thing. Yeah. That guy's work ethic is ridiculous.
It doesn't.
You can't compare.
It doesn't matter. I mean, he's a producer, you know, and I mean, you look at some of the best producers. You mentioned Quincy Jones. He didn't play every single instrument, you know.
Exactly. No, trust me. I don't get excited when people pump me up like that. I always go, nah, but I probably suck. So I always assume whatever. So anyways, my point is listen to like The Watcher. There's only like 4 to 5 instruments, right? You got a horn and a few, like you got a little lead in the back where he throws it in. Mm-hmm. It's every instrument to the tambourine in that thing. I'm just like, that needs to be a reference track if you guys are trying to get a mix. I would just say The Watcher's a good. Just off the bat, I mean, you could go to the next song.
Right. That's the holy grail for reference albums. The Chronic 2001. Like, you know, if you need to reference your music, unless you're going for something else, unless you're going for like, you know, kind of a grimy sound or whatever. But I mean, for the most part, I think that's in there for top 3.
I would go RZA or something, maybe some Wu-Tang.
Yeah, if you're trying to go grimy. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it doesn't get any better than the Chronic 2001.
Yeah, there's plenty of reasons to use that as a reference.
Yep. Okay. All right, man. Well, you know, I wanted you talk about, you know, Mount Cushmore a lot, man, but we're about to talk about Mount Rushmore. And I want to know, man, I'm going to put a pick in your hand and a hammer in the other. And I want to know what 4 producers are going up on your Mount Rushmore.
Oh, I only get that because I guess Mount Rushmore. Hey, what about a little junior guy in the bottom?
Hey, man, we are so flexible on Beats Grinding Life that if you need to put a 5th person on there, I think we could make it happen.
Well, you know, you can't minimize it to a certain, because everyone has.
Everyone has that list, and that list is always changing too.
I almost want to throw some few names in there just so I don't sound redundant, and then also so I don't sound like everyone else has said it.
Please.
But you gotta. Here's the obvious ones: Dre, Quick, and Battle Cat. Mm-hmm. That's for me.
Yep.
That's just. But I would also argue DJ Khalil.
Yep. For sure.
his resume is just stacking up, and didn't realize half of the shit he was making it was him. It wasn't even Dre.
right.
Which doesn't make me like poo Dre, like, oh, whatever. Like, he's not a, you know. It's just like, oh, there's the guy behind the curtain right there.
Yep.
So,
and
Illmind from the Blap days, and I'm not. Look, I know he's doing his trap stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who's keeping up with Illmind right now, and he's hot. He's hot in the industry, and he's, you know, he just did that Nicki Minaj song and whatever. That doesn't move the needle for me because I'm not a trap guy. But if I know what he's capable of, because I've heard his Blap Day stuff, and it was just undeniable. And you know, his shit with Scarface and 50, and so.
Yep. Did you know that he did one of the songs on Moana as well?
Oh, yes, right. Yeah, so I remember he was posting a Disney check.
Yeah.
Which does trump my Spurs check. I won't lie, because that's a $1 trillion industry there. But man, so good for him. Anyone succeeding, man, I don't hate on anyone. Like, I'm just not a trap guy. I know that's what he's in that lane right now, and good for him. He's getting those checks and he's paying bills.
For sure, man.
For if I'm making a Mount Rushmore, though, it's got to be. Well, because, you know, sports guys talk, and they always go, you know, Tyson, but when he was in his prime, not post-prison Tyson, you know, like,
right.
Like everyone gets to add all their little extra stuff. Let me do it, too. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you said that the staples were Dre, Battle Cat, Quick. And then, I mean, I guess the other face is just a revolving face of just, you know, some other producers. But the three staples. And man, I agree with that for West Coast. Oh, I guess Khalil was that fourth that's revolving, but yeah, those three are staples for sure, man.
Yeah, I mean, just Battle Cat's energy. Not only is his production amazing, his energy. He's just got a smile on his face. He's happy to talk to anyone. So anyone listening here doesn't know who he is or kind of mildly knows who, follow his Instagram and he'll go live for you. And he'll sit there and play beats and talk to anyone in there. Hey, how you doing? He'll get on the talk box and sing on the talk box and sing your name and shit.
That's dope. I didn't know
and he doesn't need to do that because he's done everything from E40 to Snoop to, he doesn't have to be that guy. And that's why I love that guy. So,
wow, man.
So he's definitely gonna always be there.
He sounds like he's grounded.
He's in there.
Okay, well that's what's up, man. Well, that sounds like a great Mount Rushmore right there, man. A Mount Rushmore for West Coast production. It's dope, man. Loving it. Okay, so I want you to imagine that you woke up from a dream, and in that dream, you just came out of the perfect studio session. In that studio session, you have one artist, one producer, one engineer, and one random person. And I'm sorry, that one producer is a co-producer with you. Who are those four people going to be?
Oh, you changed it on me.
How'd I change it on you?
Because I was going to use the producer as me.
Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't articulate it very well. I'm sorry about that. Oh man. Well, yeah. Well, you're the co-producer.
It doesn't change the artist for me, so let's go ahead and go with Exhibit.
Ooh. Okay. I'm already liking this.
I got 3 albums worth of shit for that guy.
Wow.
And he doesn't know who I am, but I try my best. I don't go chasing. I just hopefully someone will tag him, and it all has to happen organic for me.
Yeah, it is gonna happen.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
I mean, well, I've heard him on the beats. What's that? Sorry, I don't mean to stray from the question.
It's cool.
But I heard him on the what's the pharmacy? You know, he hosts the pharmacy with Dr. Dre. You know, the Apple
the
podcast.
Beats radio show, or yeah.
Yeah, they play music and then cut in and out and have guests. Sometimes they'll have Snoop and all them in there. But Exhibit's pretty much the host there. But I heard him spinning Kushmore, but I didn't hear him comment on it because it just came out. He's not going to not spin 4 Legends on a track. He doesn't care who produced it.
Right. Maybe.
Unless he starts asking. Right. But here's the funny thing. Here's another tangent. I go to YouTube and read the comments. I see, hey, did Dr. Dre produce this? No, it sounds like Battle Cat. And then I get to sit in the corner and laugh and go, well, first of all, thank you, because that's a compliment. To assume Dre or Battle Cat did it, and those are my Rushmore guys, right? Yep. So, I mean, dope. I don't need to chime in and be thirsty and go, nope, I did it. You know, like, right. I'll wait for one of my fans to set them straight, but
that takes a lot of discipline.
It does. Hey, in the beginning, I've been doing this. What is this? 2005. I started officially.
14.
What are we? About 14 years. Yeah, it takes this. That takes also 14 years of swinging and missing.
Yeah, right.
So wow, yeah, I gotta restrain. You gotta restrain yourself. It'll all settle itself out in the end. But exactly. Anyways, back to the question. I didn't mean to go that far. So Segal is my engineer.
Okay, I'm not familiar with him.
Segal, yeah, the mix master. He did. I think he mixed 2001.
Really?
I think he did.
Okay.
Don't quote me on it, but I know he did the blue carpet treatment for sure.
Nice.
But yeah, he's definitely. If you ever, so anyone's a West Coast guy, there was a documentary called The West Coast Theory.
Yeah. He
was in there. He had the long hair. He looked like Steven Seagal. That's why they call him Seagal.
But I wanted to see that so bad though, because it seemed like it was they didn't focus on, but I mean they showed a lot of production.
Oh yeah, there was that Jelly Roll in there, and yeah. Fred Wreck was there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. But he was in there, and yeah, he mixed the. So I have a single coming out on Maylay's album. So Maylay is the voice of San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto. So everyone who's played that, CJ, that's him. But he also, rest in peace, DJ Crazy Tunes mixed his whole album. He did a album a long time ago.
Wow.
And everyone's been waiting for this new thing, and he's coming out with an EP. And I made sure it was cool. He said it's cool, so I'm not saying anything too far ahead, but we got video shot, and it's gonna be a hit.
Nice,
it's gonna be real crip walking type West Coast shit. So
what's the song called?
We haven't even gotten that far yet, but
okay.
All I know is video's been shot and Segal mixed it, so it's already going to be a classic.
Nice, man. Nice.
So I don't even have a date for you guys, but it is coming sooner than you think.
Okay. Well, man, when it comes out, man, please let me know, man. I'll let all the beat grinders know through social media or something.
Oh, for sure, because Dub C's on it too, and if you don't know who Dub C is, you got to go back. Oh, now you have to go back to Ice Cube. And
if you don't know who Dub C is, you guys are lost. But
well, that's my goal, man. And I know I'm still haven't answered your question, but that's my goal, is to get to the. I want to hit every OG in the West before they hang their hat, because I don't know how long this shit goes.
Right.
I don't know how long these guys are going to be talking about what they talk about. And I don't know how long my style is going to be relevant. I don't even think it is now. I've been told many times, like, when are you going to start evolving? I'm like, well, I stayed in the pocket and I got a few placements out of it. So
yeah, exactly. Fuck that, man. Be yourself. That's what music is about. It's an expression of who you are, and why would, unless, you're evolving as a person, but why does your music have to be something different?
Yeah, that's the cool thing. I heard people say, get out of that Battle Cat lane, man. That's already old news. I'm like, well, that makes me want to. That's now it makes me want to do it more.
Right?
So,
yeah, it's like that's my lane. And Snoop approves of it. Battle Cat approves of it. So many legends approve of it. So why not?
Yeah.
Nice, man.
So, anyways, sorry. So Segal would mix it. Exhibit's the artist. I was gonna say me producing it, and then here's the extra guy twist. Dr. Dre came because he had to drive. Exhibit was a little fucked up, so
right.
Dre had to.
Nice.
And then he just so happened to overhear a few discrepancies, and he came over to turn a few knobs. So at the end of the day, he ended up producing it on accident. So there's my dream. That's my dream, right? So I get to wake up from my dream and that happened.
That is a dope dream right there, man. If if Dre is gonna be the random person in there, he's not just gonna sit with his arms folded and just nod his head. He's definitely gonna contribute somehow. So that would be dope, man. But I'm not gonna let you off the hook this easy, man. I need you to come up with the co-producer. I know that Dre is in there, and he'll probably, like you said, it'd be your dream for him to take over. But I need you to name one more producer.
Shit. I throw in DJ Khalil then, because he's already worked with Dre.
He's already worked with Dre,
and he already knows it. No, here. Take that one back. I want to put Focus in there.
He's already worked with Dre.
Talk about someone who works with Dre.
Yeah.
And his name didn't come up this whole interview, and screw that. Focus is. And he's up there, man. He gets. Come on.
That's my favorite producer. Everybody listening, they all know Focus is my favorite producer. And his name almost did come up, because when you mentioned DJ Khalil, and you said you didn't know that DJ Khalil did a lot of the Dre beats, that's how it was for me. It was an eye-opener when I found out Focus did a lot of the beats for Dr. Dre, and I'm like, oh my God, this dude is fucking amazing, and so he's always been one of my favorites since then. But yeah, Focus in there with you, Dre, Exhibit, Seagal on the boards. That sounds like.
Oh, I got chills right now when you said that.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, man. Well, you know what? I always say that, hopefully this can come into fruition, man. And hopefully if you can't get this perfect studio session, hopefully you can get something close to it. And, man, that would be dope, man. All I ask is that you just put it on the gram so we can all see it.
Man, I just want to see Dre bob his head to my shit.
Yeah, right?
I heard he passes along a lot of stuff, so if he were to nod his head, that means it's almost like what Johnny Carson would tell you to come sit down next to him.
Right, man.
And it's like, oh, that means he likes me.
Right. That's crazy. I didn't know that about Johnny Carson. So there were some people that probably didn't get to sit down and talk with him,
Well, they would do stand-up routines at the end of the show, and if Johnny thought he was funny, he would say, hey, come sit with us and close out the show.
Right. Wow, I didn't know that. And
yeah, sometimes if you weren't that funny or you didn't think you were that interesting, you would just go to the back.
Oh, man. Well, that's what's up, man. Well, your music is getting around, man. It seems like it's starting to circulate a little bit, man. And I wouldn't be surprised if Dre somehow does get a hold of your music, man.
Oh, that'd be dope.
I know, right?
Sure. Yeah. I wouldn't know what to do. I still get starstruck when Snoop calls me, so Dre, that would be ridiculous.
I know, man. All right, man. Well, we're staying in this imaginative mode, man, and I want to know, if you woke up tomorrow and you lost everything that you had except for your knowledge and $1,000, and you woke up on like a new planet identical to Earth, what would you do in the next week to restart your career? You have nothing except for, I said your knowledge and $1,000, but no music equipment, no contacts. It's just you on this new planet with the money and your knowledge.
Now, I didn't know there was a planet involved, so I have a few more questions now for you.
Okay.
Is BMI and ASCAP still exist?
We can say there's something there's something like BMI and ASCAP, but you would probably have to re-register.
Well, there's $200 right there.
Oh, nice.
For my publishing. So
dope.
No, I don't know. I would have to. You know what? Here's a good one. I don't know if this has been said, but we all started with less than 1,000, I'm sure. So I would probably just do the same progression.
Nice.
I would get a bootleg version of Reason.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I'd have to buy a computer, but. So there goes some of the money, but I would just start going back that way. It's already, $1,000 more than I had when I first started.
Right. That's awesome right there. Well, I love the way that you started it off. You said you would, you sign up for BMI or ASCAP. That has never been mentioned on here for this answer. For this question. And and then you get a computer and get some illegal software. So that's the reason why I asked this question is because there's people that are probably listening that want to learn how to make beats, that want to be producers, and they just don't know how to get started. And so, hopefully with your answer, this will guide them the right way. And then there's people that, there's producers that have lost equipment, lost software due to stuff malfunctioning, or hard drive dropping, or theft, or whatever, and they just want to get back into the game. So thank you for this answer. Hopefully this answer can guide a few people.
Hey, and thank you to all the people that said they'd keep grinding, because I would probably sit the next few plays out if I got all my stuff stolen. I'd be like, damn, this shit ain't for me then, I guess. God's trying to tell me something.
And that would be understandable. I mean, this shit is hard, man. Being a producer it's hard, and all the shit that we accumulate, it takes years to get, and so I don't blame you for saying that, man.
Oh yeah, I get let down very easily. I'm not very strong in that regard. Like, I'll throw a beat at you. Mm-hmm. If I don't hear nothing, I assume you don't like me and you want me to fuck off. But it's probably not even that. It's probably they just never got to it yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyone in that state of mind, kind of get out of it. Don't listen to me at that point.
Be like Evo as far as his music goes, but as far as that goes, don't be like Evo. So, Dr. Evo.
Yeah. So I mean, I'll even say it. Here's another gem. So I know you want to probably finish this.
No, go ahead, man.
I got approached by Strange Music to make music tech.
Nice.
They said, it's dope. Would you like to make some shit for them? I said, I can't believe you're even asking me that, of course. But then again, what can I provide to tech? I don't have anything in his lane.
Right.
So I started doubting myself. Mm-hmm. And this may go back to your setback question, but I sent a few beats, got a few okays and a few maybe's, and then that was it. I didn't really follow up. I didn't pursue it because I had just assumed they didn't reply fast enough. If they like something, they're gonna hit you.
Right.
So, but also maybe they never got them yet, or I should have just followed up, or this is before I had representation, and so that could have been another setback. I could have, who knows? I could be like Michael Seven Summers now. I could be making all the shit.
Right.
Wow, so, man. Be consistent too, especially when you get an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, they were hitting you up. It's not like
that's what I'm saying. All these opportunities they're just falling on my lap. And I'm not taking it for granted, but I'm also not very pushy, and I kind of like to stay in my own. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo in that regard. So I should have maybe followed up or said, I don't know. But I didn't want to be insecure about it and go, hey, well, do you guys not like me or something? I didn't want to be stupid about it.
Right. I mean, you may be weird, but I mean, the thing is that a lot of us could probably connect and identify with some of the things that you've gone through. I mean, these are human traits, and I experience that all the fucking time, and so the thing is that you've put your music out enough to get where you are, despite everything else that's going on. So, I think that you're doing, extremely well, man. You're killing it, and so I aspire to be like you, one of these days. So.
Oh man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. I appreciate you, man, for just showing us and leading us the way. So.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. Well, I want to know, what is your legacy? What does legacy mean to you? And when it's all said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
My main goal, like I was kind of alluding to, I want to be the name that when another guy comes on this podcast or on another producer podcast, who's your top, Mount Rushmore producers. I want my name to be on there. I want, not in a weird, what's the name? And not in a weird way. I want it to be I want it to roll right off the tongue.
Right.
Not, oh, who's that guy? But I also want to, as far as my legacy, like I don't really care about the fame. I don't care about the money so much. I care more about the respect. And I would love to have every West Coast legend know who I am or tip their cap my way and say, hey, I got a project coming along. I can't think of anyone else better than you.
Nice.
That would be dope. If E40 called me right now and said, hey,
that'd be sick.
Hey, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. E40, Exhibit, Game, Cube. So, I mean, these guys, I want all the legends. That's my thing. I want to go off. Like, you know, like you ever watch those 90s movies where the serial killer's checking off all the people he's killed?
Right, yeah.
His little hit list. That's what I want. I want to be like, okay, got put. So, not because I did Snoop, so now he's checked off. I don't need to do him anymore. I mean, some people call me Snoop's producer. I've done 3 tracks with him, but I'm not Snoop's producer.
Right.
You know, like I produced for him a few times, but you know, but I don't know. Like I said, that's my legacy. I would like to be known as a West Coast royalty. I'd like to be within the names there, and
nice.
Because look, I don't know how long. Like I said, these guys are 50 now almost.
Yep.
Your Cubes, your E40s, Too Shorts, like they're not what they were. Like they're not in. No one's requesting them per se, unless they're our generation.
Right. Yep.
They're not. No, these new guys don't even know who that is. They don't care about who they were.
Yep.
They don't have to. But my point is, you know, like that would be dope for me because I don't know if they're gonna hang their hat soon.
Right. Yeah. You never know when that last album is gonna be. You know, and I feel the same way when some of my favorite rappers are putting out an album, or like, you know, for instance, like if Ghostface puts out an album, I'm like, oh fuck, man, you know, I want to get on one of his I feel the same exact way. I want to get on one of his albums before he hangs it up, you know.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, because we don't know. We've never seen really a generation of rappers turn 80 yet, have we?
No, we haven't, not yet.
And I'd love to throw Scarface in there. It doesn't have to be West Coast, but that's, right. I mean, who has a bad thing to say about Scarface?
Yeah, right.
I mean, come on.
Man, well, yeah, man, that's what's up. This is just a personal question. You know, you threw out some West Coast legends, man, and I consider this guy a legend because I grew up on him and I've always loved his shit. But is Brother Lynch on there at all?
Oh. Brother Lynch. I got a story about that guy. Oh well, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah,
I don't think he's gonna listen to the show. I sent him a beat maybe 2-3 years ago. He said it was so dope. He said, "Can you send it to me again, a better version? You know, like a better 2-track?" And said, "I'm gonna have Funk Beta listen to it because I'm at his house right now. I want him to hear it."
Nice.
Never heard from him after that.
Oh.
So I don't know if he's the gatekeeper and says this beat's not that great, or
right.
But it was a storytelling, evil sounding beat. It was right in his wheelhouse.
Right.
Cut to, I just found out yesterday. Now, hopefully you know who he is, otherwise this won't be impactful here. But do you know who Twisted Insane is?
No, I don't. Damn.
Okay, so he rapped with Strange and Tech and Brother Lynch. He's got a project with Brother Lynch coming out. He raps really fast. Like it's almost so fast you can't even hear what he's saying.
Yeah, I can imagine if you rapped with Strange music. Or Brother Lynch.
Yeah. He looks like Debo. He's a big, like, dude, this guy's just stacked. He's a big old dude with long hair and everything. I don't know if you've ever seen him, but if you go on YouTube, watch he spits with Brother Lynch and Tech on a song called Chop Suey.
Okay.
Look at that song, Chop Suey, Tech 9. That's Twisted. Found out Twisted Twisted calls me his favorite producer ever. And I said, what? Like, me? You know, like, I'm still that guy. Like, I know who you are, but how do you know who I am? That kind of thing. So I find out he goes, are you in Phoenix? I go, well, I'm in the West Valley. He goes, I'm in the West Valley.
Wow.
I'm all, no, you're not. What? I'm right here on Cotton and Greenway or whatever. And he goes, I'm on Greenway and so-and-so. And I said, oh, hey, neighbor, can I borrow some sugar? What the fuck's happening? You just put out an album. We could have just...
Wow.
So I just found out he's my neighbor, pretty much.
That's, man, well, small world. And the fuck, man. Well, that's what's up, man. I mean, I'm sure you guys are definitely going to connect.
Oh, yeah, we have to.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's no getting around it now. That's what's up, man. Wow.
Yeah.
That's
like,
dope.
It's like when you take a job across the street from your work, or you take it from your house, and you're like, I can't make it. Car broke down. You're like,
they're like, get the fuck out of here.
Buddy.
Yeah. Exactly.
Can't get out of it.
Exactly.
So that's inevitable, and he's already connected to Lynch. So that's to your question.
Yeah, man. That it sounds like. I mean, that Lynch thing might happen after all.
Yeah, we might have to cook up something. But they talk about some real dark stuff, as you know. So
I know, and you know where my mind went when you said cook up something, you know. So I'm thinking barbecue babies and shit. And
yeah.
But
I try to explain to past girlfriends and recent ones that when I listen to Lynch and I listen to it's horror rap, right?
Right.
So what I tell them is, you watch a horror movie, you don't think it's so disgusting that you want to never watch anything that director made. How come he can't create something in a fantasy world where he's eating babies or
exactly?
You know what I mean? Like it's just a scary movie, but audio version.
Yep, that's so true. I never thought about that.
Yeah, you'd have to articulate it to them because they think very linear in that way. They're just like, well, no, I can't listen to him because he said he wants to eat a baby. I'm like, do you think he really wants to?
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to break it down, but it's. I understand where he's coming from. I get it. I know it's a genre, and it should be. And Twisted is just like that too.
Nice.
He talks about that's where we get a name like Twisted, right?
Well, man, I'm definitely gonna listen to that Chop Suey song when I get off of here.
For sure.
All right, man. Well, I want to know what's the greatest piece of advice that you've received coming up in this game, and what advice would you have for all the beat grinders listening today?
Okay. Well, let's see. I've dropped some good advice. I feel so.
Yeah, you have for sure. How are you gonna top that?
Well, here's where I know I set the bar a little too high. No, for advice that I got, I forgot who it was from, or maybe it could have been it's one of those inspirational YouTube videos. It doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It was you need to be, if you want to be great, you need to be obsessed with it. You can't dabble. And you know what? I did learn it. I learned it from Greg Jackson, which is the Jackson MMA, which is in Albuquerque where John Jones trains.
Nice, okay.
I was punching people in the face for about a year over there. And I was trying to say it would be cool if I could get a fight at this weight. I was trying to get a catch weight. I'm a big guy. But I'm a big guy, but I'm not very tall. So I knew they would pair me up with real big guys that are meant to be big. Right. So I was trying to say, well, what if I got to this weight? And he pulled me to the side. And now I remember how this worked. He pulled me to the side and said, look, you're doing this for fitness and to have fun and to learn some jiu-jitsu and maybe punch a few people, but you can't dabble, dude, because in order to be great at this, you need to be obsessed with it. And you're not obsessed. You go to work, you're chasing ladies, and you put on your boxing gloves when you get hit quite a few times. I'm like, yeah, I guess I do. He's like, yeah, you're kind of daydreaming. You're not focused. You're dabbling, and the only way to be great is to be obsessed. And when I would fast forward to where I'm at now in Arizona, probably 2013, I came out here. I started realizing when I got really focused into beat making, I started watching every producer thing you can think of. I started getting obsessed, literally the word obsessed. The wife even came down and said, hey, could we go to bed together or something? Like, hold on, I'm watching this video. In the zone, tunnel vision. And that's when I started really focusing. And that's why maybe my beats sound the way they sound now. But I think if you guys want to be great, if you're not obsessed with it, you could be good, but you probably won't reach greatness.
Wow, that's
so I learned that.
Thank you, man. That's great advice, man. Yeah, I know Grant Cardone has a book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. Yeah, and I mean, you made me reflect on some shit just now. You know, like I told you earlier, you know, I mean, my time is split with this podcast, and you know, maybe that's why my beats are sounding the way they sound now. You know, and so, but yeah, maybe you know, it's not about me, but you definitely made me think about some things right now when you just talk about that. So thank you for that advice, man. You definitely impacted me, and you probably impacted some other folks as well. So appreciate that,
sure.
man. All right, man. Well, if you have any more words for the listeners, man, we're wrapping it up here. If you want to let them know what you're working on, any releases that are coming out, and also how to contact you if you want to be contacted, man, please do.
Yeah, well, advice, if I were to give any more advice, it would be, not everyone wants to collab. Mm-hmm. You know, and producers don't really care about another producer's beat so much, especially if they're already working on a bunch of projects. Mm-hmm. They don't want to like, because I'll get a DM and I've never met the guy, doesn't follow me, right, and then just sends me something from his page, and I'm just throwing my hands up like, bro, like I'm not trying to be a diva over here, but like build a relationship, man. If you want to network, you got to treat it like a real relationship, bro. Right. I know this is not some gay stuff, whatever, even if you are, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, you can't just be weirdo like that, right, dude. You can't just be in the DMs, and you can't put someone in a headlock and force them to listen to your shit and say, here's my SoundCloud link.
Right.
Tell me what you think. Like, what if I don't want to? Now I'm an asshole because I don't want to? Like, so please don't do that. And you know, like I said, I've been doing this for 14 years. It's easy to say at this point. And when you're trying to come up, you do want that's the weird thing about our industry, is the only way to know if anything's good is to play it for someone, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because you could convince yourself a million times the beat's good, and it could suck. Right. So I understand the need or the want to have someone, hey, I'm gonna press play for you. Tell me if you think this is good. Like, that's a normal way to interact. Mm-hmm. But you do that with people that you've already built with. Yep. So try not to do that so much with like, I have people that follow me that are producers. I have this one guy. I won't say his name. Mm-hmm. He built a relationship with me, told me he's a fan. Just said, hey, you know, he didn't say anything about his beats. I went to his page. I checked them out. He's just a loyal. He just loves. I inspire him, and I think that's great, right? Mm-hmm. He starts sending me. He goes, give me your address, and I'll send you some plugins. I'll send you. What do you need? What do you need? This and that. And he's just hooking me up with stuff. And I built a relationship with this guy, not because he's giving me free shit, but because he's not making me do anything for him, or you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, you just genuinely think I'm dope, you know? And I think that's cool, dude. Like, for sure. Like, that kind of stuff. And I have a lot of people that I do talk to in my DMs that are just want a little few things, like a few tidbits. So, but don't force people to listen to your stuff. That's what I'm saying.
For sure, man. And I mean, I think, you know, with the producer that is building a relationship with you and hook you up with plugins, you know, I think a lot of people say it's all about the value you provide, you know, and he definitely provided you value, and, you know, didn't even mention anything about himself, you know, and that's probably the number one way to build a relationship. If you put people in a headlock, like you said, and make them listen to your beats, you probably just kill that potential relationship right away.
Yeah, you got to know when to shoot that shot, man. And then, you know, I'm not a big guy, and I don't come off as arrogant or anything. I'm not trying to sound that way, but I'm just saying, because I've been on that end where you're just like, oh God, I just want to exhibit to hear my shit. Like, no, but you can't do that. You got to resist that feeling, and just hope that you can build something with the people that already follow you now. And don't just don't jump. You don't have to jump the gun so fast. Like build and work on yourself, and don't be a. Here's another thing. Sorry, I'm drinking a little bit.
It's all right.
Don't be a type producer. Don't be a Drake type beat. Don't be a Ninth Wonder type beat. Be a Siren type beat.
Nice. Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Don't take the good from the producers that make that type stuff, and then make it yours. Like stop. Like you're trying to pull from their fan base, and I get that as a marketing strategy, but you don't want to be that person. You want to be you. Like work on you. Put your head down. Put those blinders on. That's why those horses wear those blinders, man, so they don't get distracted.
Nice.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And work on you. Get that sound. Dude, you don't think I've listened to Dre and Khalil and just said, what makes this pop so hard?
Right.
You don't think I don't sound exactly like any of those guys. I sound a little bit like a bunch of those guys.
Right. Just take elements of what they're doing.
And then weave in, because I have a rock background. Mm-hmm. So I'll show you some rock shit. Like I have that shit I sent to Eminem on my fucking page. Sorry, I'm starting to get a little surly here. But I got that thing where the guitars I was riffing. I said Eminem and Tech 9 would destroy this. However, they don't know who I am. Right. So there is a little element where like it is who you know also in this industry. It's not that you're dope, because a lot of these artists are not really good at picking beats. So you have to kind of sell it to them in a way where it's like no, I pictured you in this and that. Right. Because I've had people pass on a beat, then I heard their album and went, dude, I could have made your whole album pop. Just went with some garbage.
Right. I mean, we've seen that on. Have you ever seen the Fade to Black, the Jay-Z movie? Where like Kanye was selling them beats, Kanye was playing beats and rapping over them, and pretty much not convincing Jay-Z, but just kind of letting him know, hey, I had this idea for this song, you should do this, you should do that. And so I mean, like, I don't know, I'm not saying Jay-Z doesn't know how to pick beats, but you do have to sell it. You're a salesman, I mean, when you're a beat maker, you're selling your beats, So
right, yeah. Well, that's also the difference between like a online. I'm selling 5 beats for $20. So it's like, well, you just valued yourself really low. So let's stop doing that. I would not roll out of bed for under 500. I'll tell you that right off the bat.
I heard that
because I don't know how many of your producers even know about getting an advance versus getting taken care of on the back end when the royalties start coming in. Mm-hmm. And how much ownership they are supposed to have, versus the publishing and the writing credits. So,
well, thank you, man. That's what's up, man. All right, man. If you wanted to plug the single one more time with Maylay, just let people know, to be on the lookout for it and how to contact you, man. That'd be dope.
Yeah, just follow Mayleno if you want. Mayleno.
Okay.
He's, like I said, he's the voice of CJ. But I'm not here really to play. Just follow me. I'll post it.
Okay.
And just follow me, and when it comes out, for sure I'm going to post that. So Dr Evo and _producer. That's at Instagram. That's the only thing I'm really on. Okay. I have Twitter. I have Dr Evo producer on Twitter, but it's hardly ever. I don't even know how it works. I'm like an old man. I see RT. I'm like, what's that? And they're like, it means retweet. Well, why would someone tweet twice? That doesn't make sense.
Oh man.
Oh man. Well, that's about it though. I'm on the gram. Seriously, by the way, if the gram wasn't invented, Snoop doesn't know who I am.
That's crazy, man. That's fucking nuts.
Shout out to Instagram, by the way.
Yeah, shout out to Instagram, man. I mean, it's just it's a useful tool, and I mean, you could have easily said Instagram on for the answer for internet resource.
Hey, well, we'll throw that in the edit bay.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, that's what's up, man. Well, Dr. Evo, I want to thank you again for coming on. You provided value. Man, you provided some really good lessons for us. You gave us some stories that we could just all put in our pockets and take with us, man. And thank you for everything that you provided today, man. Really appreciate it.
Oh man, thanks for reaching out and creating a platform for people like us, the unsung heroes, the what is it, the thankless job that we do.
Yeah, man, no doubt, man, no doubt.
If you've ever tried telling someone, hey, I tried taking my kid. I know you want to close the show.
No, go ahead, man.
I'll be at when my kids were growing up, I'd go, hey, listen, yeah, it's a Katy Perry song. I'm all, I know, who produced it? They go, I don't know. And I go, exactly.
Yep. Or this one where, people would be like, oh, Jay-Z sampled that. No, Jay-Z didn't sample that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
But, all right, man. Well, Beat Grinders, thank you guys for tuning into another episode of Beats Grinding Life. If you guys found this show of any value, if Dr. Evo sparked some things in you, which I'm sure he did because he did in me, please share it on Instagram, share it on Snapchat, on Facebook, whatever platform. And you guys hit him up on Instagram. Let him know how much he has impacted you. Go ahead and tag him, tag me as well. Rate and review this podcast on iTunes. Like it on SoundCloud. And you guys know how it goes down. You've been mentored by another dope producer. This time you guys have been mentored by Dr. Evo. You guys consider yourselves lucky for that. Continue making beats, stay on your grind, and live life. All right, peace, y'all.
Here at Beats Grinding Life, we want to thank you for listening to another episode. We want to know, what were your biggest takeaways from this interview? Just go to beatsgrindinglife.com and leave a comment on this episode's show notes page. Also, while you are there, go subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. Just click the little button that says subscribe. If you could, please leave a rating and review. Rating and reviews are the best way to show your appreciation because it helps more people find out about the podcast. So until next week's episode, keep grinding.